Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of Tides Watch, where we talk about the Halifax Tides. Back again as your host, Jimmy West. Today we're going to go over the preseason roster, which is just recently released. With that, some new signings, which will be extremely exciting. And we'll end the podcast with expectations. I know it's hard to do, especially when you haven't seen these players yet, and they haven't even started their preseason. But it's always fun to talk about the future. With that said, before we get into it, it's interesting to see how the 6 teams, how they did the roster differently, whether it's the signing of the players or the announcements. You had some teams that were very business-like and said, okay, this is our preseason roster, this is our workout, You had some teams like the Halifax Tides that had a little bit more fun with it, where it was, guess who this player is, or guess who this signing is, or signing next week, or signing tomorrow coming up. And you had some teams that, where they didn't have many signings, so they held it all the way to the end. Just interesting to see kind of the flavor of each team coming out in the social media department, essentially. With that being said, let's get into it. So I'll go by position of the release. We'll start with the goalkeepers. So the first person is Annika Toth. We saw her last year. We saw her go leaps and bounds from where she started to the end. A lot of that could be Erin McLeod. A lot of it is herself as well, working hard and showing that she deserved Goalkeeper of the Year in the inaugural season. That's going to be hard to beat, but I know she'll be up for the challenge. She's shown that she's able to handle the workload, and really exciting to see what she does this year. Next up is the first signing I guess I'll talk about is Riley Foster. Born in Kitchener-Waterloo, raised in Cambridge. That's kind of close to where I currently reside. So really cool to see someone local make it all the way to Halifax and make a career of it. She spent some time with Liverpool. She also spent some time with Wellington Phoenix in New Zealand. She also had a spell with the Canada U17 teams, U20 teams, and has even been called up to the senior national team. I love the signing because you're getting experience. If, knock on all the wood in the world, something goes with Annika Toth, or maybe she has an injury, or maybe she needs just a rest, it looks like we have a savvy veteran in the wings who can also push Annika for that starting job too. I really like that signing. To fill out that goalkeeper signing is Samantha St. Croix. Samantha's on the other end of the age spectrum. She just finished university with Western Ontario as their goalkeeper, and she looks like she has a lot of talent, a lot of potential. I know the Canadian national team has been looking around her too. So the fact that the Tides were able to kind of scoop her up and get her to sign her first professional contract with them is great. And I think from her perspective, she's seen someone like Annika Toth go from, a young, talented keeper with potential to someone who maximized potential and became a goalie of the year. I know, again, I reference Erin McLeod, but you have to have the skill in the first place. So maybe this is a chance for Annika Toth to give back and say, here's Samantha, here's what I learned, or here's some things that I took from Erin and things that improved my game. Let's see if you can do it. And I truly like this because you sign someone who is a veteran, you sign someone for the long-term future. That goalkeeping position might be one of the best 3 in the league, which is something to say because there's a lot of talented goalkeepers out there. But I'm really glad. This is a great sign from the Halifax Tides, management team, showing, hey, we're going to solidify some positions. Annika was great last year. Also, we need to think about what happens if she's injured, or if we need to think of a contingency plan. And we also are thinking long term. Great. You hit all the stones on the head there. Next up are the defenders. We'll start with Addie Wakers, Annika Leslie, Eva Fermot, Jubes Vellerand, Julie Pedersen, Naya Cadorza, Shaylin Allen. Let's go in order here. So Addie Weekers we had last year. I thought she had a good season. I think much like the rest of the defense corps, I know they can do better. And I know they're looking for a bounce back season. And I think Addie would be right there with them. So I'm really excited to see what she can do again in the center back position. Super excited that she was able to come back. And I think you need to keep your good players, and she's definitely one of them. After that is Annika Leslie. Again, same with Addie, another good player that they had. Played in the center back position as well. Really glad they kept her, and I think she'll make a good partnership with Addie. But I'm also interested in seeing what, the other signings that they have. Let's see. Next up is Eva Fermo. Loves to get stuck in, loves to get a tackle. Definitely your most aggressive and determined defender, in the sense of she will not let someone by her, and if she does, she's going to get right back, and you have to beat her 3 or 4 times to get to the net. A really good signing. I know around the league has a lot of respect, and I know the forwards going against her, they know they're not going to have an easy day at the office, so really glad she's coming back as well. Next up is Jubes Velerand. She came towards the end of this season last year, but that doesn't minimize her impact. She played really well as a left back, much like Eva on the other side. Very aggressive, can get forward, and hopefully with the signings that we'll mention in the future here and the rest of the team, this year she'll be allowed to get forward, meaning that you're more sturdy defensively, so you can get up and down the wings there and maybe whip in some crosses, see what she's all about going forward. Defensively, very sturdy, and another good person that we kept there. Next up is Julie Pedersen, and this is a new signing for this season. I'll read the press put out for her. Pedersen comes from Odds BK Women, where she spent 4 seasons as a key figure in the back line and helped the club rise in Norway's second division. Across more than 90 appearances, she became known for her positioning, composure under pressure, and ability to read the game, qualities that allowed her to anchor the defense and support the attack when needed. In 2025, she featured in 15 top division matches and a Norwegian Cup game, consistently showing her defensive leadership. Julie demonstrates a good sense of positioning and anticipation, says Tides head coach Stephen Hart. She's a player that simply loves to defend and excels in 1v1 situation. Julie brings top-level experience and a winning mentality to the Tides defensive group. Her combination of intelligence, aggression, and composure under pressure is exactly what the Tides are looking for as they strengthen their team for 2026. After reading that, I'm really excited. I think she'll be able to push, whether it's Addie Wakers or Annika Leslie in the center back position. And I think that's not a bad thing. I think one thing we'll talk a lot about in the signings in the different positions is pushing for spots. That's something that Halifax didn't have last year. There was kind of certain players in certain positions, and it was kind of set. There wasn't enough off the bench or enough players around to push you to that next level. And I think this year, if you're going to start, you're going to have to earn that position. Every day, every game, every practice session, you got to prove that, yes, I'm the best player in this position and I deserve to play. That's something that you look at Vancouver, you look at Toronto, they had a lot of that. I think of Toronto just off the top of my head with Aoi Kazaki, who's no longer with them, but someone who was a really, really good midfielder, but she just couldn't get time, right? You look at Emma Regan, who was in front of her, and Victoria Pickett. Those are two stellar options, right? You have Nikki Smalls as well, who can play the central midfield position, or on the wing as well. So where does she fit? Do you change the system? How does that work, right? And I think that's not a bad problem to have, because it made Emma every game play well. It made Victoria Pickett play well. It made Nikki Smalls play well every single game, because, hey, there's someone knocking at the door if I'm not at my best. And so I think that mentality is a good mentality to have this season. Which brings me to the next signing, Naya Cadorza. I'll read the press release with her. Cadorza, 21, joins the Tides following a standout collegiate career at Brown University, bringing athleticism and positional flexibility to Halifax. Naya had a strong career at the NCAA level and more recently at the international level of Jamaica, said Tides head coach Stephen Hart. Her versatility has seen her play at center back, right back, and striker. Born in Ajax, Ontario, Cadorza made 65 appearances for Brown University from 2022 to 2025, captaining the program in her final 2 seasons. She recorded 13 goals and 6 assists, while helping lead the team to 2 Ivy League championships. As a senior, she earned unanimous first-team All-Ivy League honors. Naya brings a strong work ethic and leadership ability to the Tides. She constantly looking for the next challenge and earns every opportunity she gets, said Tide Sporting Director Amit Batra. We love that she's come through on both feet and can stop an opponent's attack with tenacious defending, but can also finish the attack as evidenced by her goal-scoring track record. At the international level, Cadorza has made senior appearances for Jamaica, including matches against Brazil, England, and Mexico. She is expected to be involved in Jamaica's World Cup qualifying campaign in 2026 as the Reggae Girls pursue a place at the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil. So breaking that down, it looks like she's born in kind of Eastside Toronto, Ajax Pickering area, that she plays for the Reggae Girls. So I'm wondering if there's a connection with Tiffany Cameron there. But the other thing is that she's very young, relatively, just coming out of college, but was a captain, scored 13 goals as a defender. So really makes me think, has she played more attacking? Did she play more right back as well? 6 assists to go with that. That's pretty impressive. I'm really looking forward to that. So maybe she can slot into one of the back positions, whether it's a center back or a fullback, and see if she can get forward, right? Worst case scenario, it looks like we can throw her up top and she can score some goals too. I like this signing because it's very versatile. It gives Stephen Hart some options and it makes the team younger, but still a lot of experience. Love it. Last but not least for the defenders, Cheyenne Allen, who joins the club from Fort Lauderdale United FC, where she was part of that club's inaugural roster in the USL. And I'll read the press release for that. A native of Bear, Delaware, Allen gained international experience in Portugal with Club de Albergaria, I screwed that up, before turning professional and captained Brown University. Okay, so another Brown University graduate for 2 seasons during her collegiate career. A versatile fullback, Cheyenne has operated as both left back and left wing, providing balance in possession and defensive reliability. During the 2024-25 Super League season, she made 14 appearances, scored once, and completed 75.4% of her passes. Cheyenne can be described as a dynamic fullback, said head coach Stephen Hart. She's always looking to join the attack and has the ability to recover quickly in 1v1 situations. She's patient and tenacious. Wow, that press release sounds great as well. Really rounding out the team. Before I continue on, I did have a chance to listen to the Tides pod, which I recommend everyone listen to, because they interview players, which is a lot of fun, and they interview people in the management positions, which is also cool. You kind of hear how the background works and what their roles are and what their day-to-day things are, and it's just a great podcast because they have a lot of fun, but it's also serious too. But one of the things they mentioned was looking at different players for this season, how they're recruiting them, where they're coming from, what's their experience level like, and just kind of breaking down that with the added caveat that Stephen Hart is here for a full season and picking the players that he'd like, not to, again, discredit anything before him. but he's actually showing and picking the people that are going to fit his system. And his system, based on just this quick outlook, and we'll look at the other players as well, is about fluidity, about versatility. Can you play in this position? Can we quickly switch this position? Are you able to be dynamic? And just looking at the defense, the people who are already here and the people they're adding are able to get forward, take on their defender, even though their defender getting up there, but also defend and keep balls out the back of the net. With that being said, I'll try to give a letter grade to each position and adjustments. Again, this is based on preseason, based on not seeing anyone. This is always going to be changing. It's fluid. Again, not to hurt anyone's feelings. I just want to put that all out there. Just a personal, honest opinion. Goalkeepers, I would say, looks like an A on paper. You have the goalkeeper of the year, so that's hard to beat. You have someone who's very experienced behind her, and you have someone who's going to learn in the wings, who hopefully might get a game or two this season, and also looking for the future. Defenders, I would say right now we're looking at a B+. The reason I say that is we have a lot of flexibility, a lot of versatility, and players who can get up and down the pitch very quickly and be very fluid. So I'm really excited with that. So that's a win for sure. All right, with that done, now let's look at the midfielders. So on the preseason roster, we have Karima Lemire, Megumi Nakamura, Julia Benatti, Cho So-hyun, Sinmo or Samoy, Kat Jordan, Sarah Taylor. Let's start with Karima Lemire. I had a chance to watch a few of the games, a few of the games last year. And Karima Lemire actually started at left back for a bit of the season there. And then she moved to central midfielder, which I think she is her best position. I really do. She has the ability to see the field, spread the ball, and I'm really excited that she came back. She has a really good long free kick as well, so she can hit them from distance, which is really cool to see. I'm excited to see her in a full season as a center midfielder, see what she can do. Really glad they got her back. Next up, Megumi Nakamura. I know on a podcast about the Halifax Tides, maybe it's not good to have favorite players, but she's definitely my favorite player. Just she reminds me of what I played like in my playing days a long time ago. But she's a box-to-box midfielder. I think she's much better as an advanced midfielder, kind of like a number 10 position. A lot of her goals come from late runs. A lot of her goals come from anticipation and seeing, okay, someone's going to take a shot, or, okay, now I need to get into the position, the box, get a good cross from one of the midfielders, which I think you look at the style that they're going to play, without sneak peeking of the forwards, a lot of them get to the byline and whip balls in or take shots, good shots, and get rebounds, and Nakamura will be really, really set up for a good opportunity this year to increase her goals tally. Last year she was a leading scorer. I think this year she has every chance. I know, again, not getting ahead of ourselves, there's a lot of good forwards as well, but she has that unique ability to find positions and score goals, which is, as a midfielder, that's super, super important. Next up is Julia Benatti. I had a chance to speak about her last podcast, so I won't go on too much about her, but I think she's a good addition. I really do think she's going to add numbers and add quality into the midfield, which I think if you look at last year, that was one of the weaker areas of the Tides. So you can see the players they brought in. A lot of them are extremely talented midfielders. Not that the other positions aren't talented as well, but I think they focus, and when I say they, I think management, coaching said, okay, to win games, we need to have the middle, the engine room, as they call it, full and ready to go with quality players, and they've definitely done that with the addition of Julia Benatti. Next up is Cho So-hyun. If you watch any type of Asian football or of the World Cups with South Korea, she was a very important piece of the puzzle. She's a high quality player, and I think this type of signing really shows, much like the others, but really shows where the Tides are going to be this season. This is a fantastic signing. I'll read the press briefing here. Cho joins Halifax with elite level experience, leadership, and a proven competitive edge. Widely regarded as one of South Korea's top women's international players, she is among the nation's most capped internationals with 156 senior appearances, including multiple FIFA Women's World Cup tournaments, where she captained the national team in 2015-2019. A consistent presence at club level, Cho has competed across England top tiers, logging significant minutes in both the Women's Super League and the Women's Super League 2. Her time in England included league appearances for West Ham United, Tottenham Hotspur, and Birmingham City, where she continued to demonstrate her influence as a composed, intelligent midfielder. Her club career also includes spells with Suwon FC Women and earlier success in Norway and South Korea. Most notably, Cho is a 5-time WK League champion, winning 4 titles with Incheon Hyundai, Steel Red Angels, WFC between 2013 and 2017. In addition to an earlier league title with Suwon FMC, a testament to her ability to perform in demanding environments. Cho returned to South Korea in 2025 to play in the WK League with Suwon FC Women and represented her country at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. Cho has achieved success at both club and international level. Tides head coach Stephen Hart said, "Her creativity and ability to control the tempo in midfield will help us connect our lines and link play into the attack. Known for her game intelligence, relentless work rate, and calm decision-making under pressure, Cho brings a professional mindset shaped by more than a decade at the highest levels of the women's game. Her arrival expected to elevate standards within the squad as the Tides continue to build ahead of the 2026 campaign." So that is a lot of accomplishments for her. I know she's a little older, but that means her experience is invaluable, especially for a team that didn't have the best season last year. You have someone who's captained their international team, has 156 caps. That's that's incredible. That really is incredible. The fact that she is going to be there for preseason, she can show the players, hey, this is how I was able to not only stay in the game. Again, she's a little older, so she's been fit. She's been at a high level for a lot of time, and she can teach people, this is what you need to do, this is how you train, this is how you eat, this is how you prepare for games. It's going to be massive. I mean, you see her body of work. Whether she can continue or not at that level, we'll see. I truly have faith that she can. There's nothing that says she can't. But worst case scenario, she's a great mentor for all the younger players that we've already mentioned, and a great mentor for the experienced ones too, who want to take their game to the next level. So this is a great signing for many different reasons, not only on the field, off the field. It's also a signal intent of the Halifax Tides. It's also a big get for the NSL itself, right? To bring in high quality players from around the world and bring them into a league that's about to have their second season is a big accomplishment. So I think the Tides and Cho should pat themselves on the back, because this is going to be really exciting to see. I'm super excited for this signing. Next up is Sin Mo. I'm really interested in seeing how that's pronounced. I know I'm probably butchering it, probably both ways. But no, really excited. I had a chance to speak about her last podcast, so I won't go on too much. But it looks like she can also play defense, which is, again, going back to that versatility that Stephen Hart's looking for, where, hey, you can't play midfield. Can you play defense? Can you play defense? Can you play midfield? You know, so able to play multiple positions depending on the game and depending on the situation. I think this is another really good signing. Next up is Kat Jordan, and this was, I believe, their most recent signing before the preseason roster was released. Very excited for her. I'll read the press thing on her. Kat played at Columbia University from 2019 to 2023, starting 19 matches during her final season and leading the team with 9 goals, including 4 game-winning goals. She earned first team All Ivy League honors and All Region recognition. Kat brings athleticism and positional versatility to the Tides, as well as an aerial presence in the opponent's 18-yard box, said Amit Batra, sporting director of Halifax Tides FC. We believe she has a bright future, and Halifax is the right environment for her to develop as a professional. She later spent 2 seasons at Santa Clara University, where she earned all West Coast Conference honorable mention recognition in 2024 and 2025, was named West Coast Conference Co-Midfielder of the Year in 2024, and served as a team captain in her final season. What I really like about this signing is not only did we hear the word versatility, which I think maybe should be the name of the podcast. I don't know. It's something that they're clearly focused on, but what I liked about her is that not only is she very good in the midfield, it looks like she can get forward and score goals. It looks like she's really good in the air as well, which I think if you look at the team, they're not really built for high crosses in or long balls in to the striker's feet or anything like that. So I think you always need a player that can win those battles in the air in the opposition end. Of course, you want to win your aerial duels in defense, but you want to win some up front too. So that's really exciting that they brought a midfielder in who can get forward. And yeah, I think this is great. Again, someone who's on the younger side. So you have people like Cho who can, kind of bring her under her wing and learn a lot. Nakamura as well, who's that kind of midfielder who gets forward. So I think this is another really, really good signing. Last but not least in the midfield, Sarah Taylor's coming back, which is really exciting too. I'm interested because last year they gave her a lot of time in the second half of the season. So I'm interested to see how she builds upon her last year. They put out a press release, so I'll read that one for her as well. In the second half of the season, Sarah returned with a real determination to earn a starting role, said Tides head coach Stephen Hart. She gave us balance in midfield with her ability to break up play, protect the back line, and contribute in possession. Now fully healthy, her attitude and competitive nature should make her an important piece for us this season. Taylor's also known for her first team approach and strong chemistry with teammates, making her a key presence to the team. That's really exciting. And I think, we mentioned Cho, we mentioned Kat Jordan, Megumi. These are players in the midfield who like to get forward. Now we have some, much like Sinmoe, like Karima Lemire, who can also protect. So you don't have everyone going forward. You have people that can either be box to box or sit a little deeper. Much like Stephen Hart's comments, I am interested to see how she does with a full preseason, a healthy start to the season, and see what she can bring. I'm excited, and it's just the competition there is going to be a little tricky. But again, much like I said with the defenders, that's what you want. You want competition for places, and you want people to bring it every session, every game. And her coming back adds to the mix, which is really exciting. Final grades for midfielders, I would give it a B+, A-. I might lean towards A-. And that's saying a lot, especially with, I would say, midfield being one of the weaker areas last season. Again, not to discredit anyone or say any bad things. I just think that was an area that was a focus. And I think you look at the signings that they brought in, you have young potential, you have people who are very experienced, and you have people in the middle who have a mix of both. But there's a lot of talent. So the question is, can we get it all together, and can we get the right people in the right places at the right times in the right matches? I'm going to leave that to Stephen Hart, but he definitely has the puzzle pieces to do it, which is part of the process. Next up are the forwards. So they announced that it's Cirilla Miller, Sid Kennedy, Tiffany Cameron, Jordan Rhodes, Stella Downing. Let's start with Cirilla Miller, the local. Really excited that she's come back, and I really was impressed with the end of her season last year, where she was really more, I don't know if confidence the word, but more aggressive, taking players on, making things happen. I think if she continues on that upward trend and improving every day, she could be a really, really complete player. Again, the question is she better on the left? Is she better on the right? But as long as she's doing her thing, taking people on, it really doesn't matter. So really excited that she decided to come back and that we have her on our team. Next up is Sid Kennedy, another local, I believe, who just loves the game, and you can see it. It's infectious, the way she takes on her opponent, her opposite number, and the way that she, again, like Cirilla Miller, ended the season was much better than the way it started. And as long as she continues to improve, which, all trends seem the right way, and loves to use that left foot of hers, let's see what happens. I'm excited. I know she's going to add to those that goal tally and also to the assist markers. If she can whip in balls to the more complete midfielder group that we have, there's a lot of opportunities for assists, a lot of opportunities for goals as a team, which is all you can ask for. I always think people look as a forward, okay, what are their goals? What are their goals? To me, it's goal contributions. If you're making things happen, that's just as important as scoring them yourself, right? So she can get a lot of assists, a lot of goals this year, and I'm really excited to see her in action. Next up is Tiffany Cameron. It's going to be nice to see her have a full season as well. She came in a little later last season, but that's not saying that she wasn't making things happen. It's just now with the full preseason, now she gets to meet all her teammates and can kind of assert herself and say that she wants to be one of the main strikers and wants to be a main performer. I had a chance to listen to her on the Tides pod. Seems like a really fun and insightful person, someone who has goals and is driven and has been able to play many different places. And yeah, I think she wants to have a good season, and I think she wants to prove that she is better than the one goal that she scored last year. And a full season and a full healthy preseason, I truly think she'll add to that. I'm excited to see where she goes in terms of that level, right? Is she someone who you can compare like a DB Pridham? Can you compare her to a Okonoko? Can you compare her to a Kaylee Hunter? Can you compare her as one of the better strikers in the leagues? We'll find out. I think this is the season that we'll see what she's all about. Next up is Jordan Rhodes, a new signing this year. I'll read the press release for her. From South Lebanon, Ohio, so American, Rhodes most recently played in Iceland's Besta Dide, scoring 12 goals and adding 2 assists for Tindastól in 2024, before netting 11 goals and providing 2 assists for Valur in 2025. Prior to her professional career, Rhodes was a standout at the University of Kentucky, where she was a 5-year starter, 2-time captain, and the program's all-time leading goal scorer with 45 goals. Jordan came out of college as a proven goal scorer, a trait she continued to demonstrate in Iceland, said the head coach Stephen Hart. With the right service, we are hoping Jordan settles quickly and contributes to our goal scoring. Sporting director Amit Batra added, "We've tracked Jordan for a while. She finds multiple ways to score with both feet and from the air. Fans will love her work ethic and physical presence. Jordan will fit into the culture of the team and community of fans and supporter Halifax is known for." That's a great press release from, your coach and the director who recruited you. I think that's awesome that you can find someone who's proven to score goals, right? You look at, again, the group that we have at the moment. I know we still need to talk about Stella Downing, but to me, there's still not a direct, out-and-out finisher, just an absolute person it's on their feet in the 18, it's a goal. You're already walking back to the half, for the reset, right? And maybe Jordan can be that person. The press release says that that's what they're looking for, and I'm excited to see what she can bring, right? Anytime you're leading your, whether it's school or team, in all-time leading goals, that's impressive. So I think fans might be ready to get behind Jordan Rhodes and see what she can do. I know I'm certainly excited. Last but not least would be Stella Downing. I had a chance to talk about her on previous podcasts, so I won't go too much into it, but I'm really excited with that signing. I think she had a really good spell with Ottawa. I think she's one of those people who I'm like, ooh, I'm surprised she didn't play more. And perhaps this is one of the reasons she made the move to the Tides, is for more playing time, because she's definitely deserved it. She's really electric on the ball. She goes at her defender. She makes things happen. She's really exciting to watch. So I'm very excited that they were able to add her, and I believe that was their first signing. So a really good kind of signal intent by the management crew and the coaching staff. So super excited. So to finish off with a letter grade for the forwards, I think I'm going to give it a B. And the reason why it's not an A is just there's a lot of banking on people on improving. There's nothing really proven to show me that, okay, this is a truly upgraded, wonderful strike force. I think there's a lot of talent. I think there's a lot of potential, but the fact that it hasn't come together yet, that's what we're waiting on, and that's what preseason is about, right? That's what the beginning of the season is. I think the forward group could be very easily an A, if not A plus, right? If you start getting those goals and start just running at the defenders, like I think we're gonna see a very different Tides team that's very fluid, very versatile. Where positions aren't, you must stay here, you must do this. It's more like, hey, feel the game. You having a chance, you see an opportunity, take it. Okay, you don't, you got to track back. Okay, someone's going to cover for you, and you're just kind of fluid in motion, which I think is some of the best football. Nobody really enjoys that stagnant, super over-structured football that just doesn't get the fans in. Sometimes it gets results, but I think that's kind of the way of the dodo bird. I think everybody has to be able to play one or two positions. Everybody has to be fluid. Everybody has to be able to get to A and B and maybe take a side route at C. That's the modern way of football, and I'm really excited that the Tides have adapted to that. Which gets me to my next point. So they have also released the technical staff update. So Ruth Fahey's the VP of football, Ahmed Batra is sporting director, Stephen Hart is the head coach, Katie Barrett, first assistant coach, Sophie Clough, second assistant coach, Mark Haynes, goalkeeper coach, Steve Coleman, performance analyst. So it's going to be interesting to see Stephen Hart in a full season. With the players again that he wanted and he picked, and now it's really his team. He came in kind of mid-season last year after taking over the head coaching role, and I don't know if the results said as much as he wanted to. He was more of a man management coach of just, hey, let's have fun, let's improve every game, let's just do our best, let's see how it goes. Now it's on him and his kind of his repertoire and his players. He brought in the whole coaching staff, I believe. He had a lot of say. I had an opportunity to again listen to Tides Pod with the CEO. I had a chance to listen to Ruth Fahey and just you kind of hear what the roles are, and it sounds like a lot of people had different ideas, had different things, but leaned on Steven, who seems to be a really good guy. A lot of the players love him and respect him, and as well as the management. And I think from his record. You look at what he's done in the past. He deserved this opportunity, and I'm really excited to see if he can take a team that ultimately finished last place in the league by a good margin, to see what we can do. See if we can be a playoff team. See if we can be competitive every single match. Whether, Toronto's coming or Vancouver's coming or we're going there, hey, we know we can win this game, right? Where last year was kind of like, ooh, let's see if we can limit kind of damage control, and let's see if we can sneak a win. Let's see. Now it's can we go head to head? So I'm excited to see what this season brings. Before I wrap things up, I just want to talk about the changes. And as a person who played football on a high level in the past, preseason's super important. I remember my first ever time. So I had a chance to play in university before I went pro in the States. My first season with my team. So I played with two schools. My second school, I actually showed up late to preseason, and it wasn't I missed my flight or anything like that. It was visa issues. And because I was Canadian playing in the US, usually it's pretty smooth. For whatever reason, it was delayed, and I showed up a week and a half, almost 2 weeks late to a 3-week preseason. And as a player, that was really difficult. And I say that because one was I was new kid to town, I guess, new person, and I had to build a relationship pretty quickly because people already had 2 weeks of training under their belt. I also had to get my fitness up to that level. Although while I was still in Canada waiting, I was still doing training. I was still doing my own thing, but it's not the same, right? It's not the same where you're doing drills and it's okay until someone pukes, we don't stop. When you're training alone, you're not doing that, right? You're doing sprints and you're working hard, but you're not going crazy hard like a good preseason should make you. And so I think we'll really find out which players are here to stay, which players, maybe it's not right for them. I looked at the roster. There's 22 right now signed. I know in the NSL you're allowed 25. So we'll see. There's still time, obviously, if they want to add more additions, if they want to alter the roster by any means. And I believe the Halifax Tides are the most changed team in the league, right? That's, I believe, if I'm counting correctly, that's 11 changers, which is, borderline unheard of in professional sports. But it's something that's possible because it's an inaugural season. It's the second year contracts, how they've worked out is, 1 year or 2 year, and it allows you to, if you struggle, like last year, it allows you to say, okay, let's make a total change. We need a reset. Let's try it. And that's what they did, which brings me back to preseason, where you have so many new people, so many different backgrounds, cultures, ideas of how to play the game. And that's where Stephen Hart's going to earn his money, right? Is bringing everyone together, focused, and this is the one goal we're looking to do. Everyone needs to kind of get on board, and let's see how that works. So, long story short, I'm excited to hear how preseason goes. Really excited to see when the season starts. That can't come soon enough. And my expectations, again, before even preseason. So what does it mean? But my expectations are that they definitely are a playoff team next year. That's the very minimum of what they should do next year. So let's see how that comes, and let's see where they get to. That's all for me, and thank you for listening, and thank you for if you stayed the whole time, please subscribe, like, and yeah, until next time, thanks everybody.